Hey friends, I'm hanging out today with my friends Jeff and Ben, the Moving Audio Imagery Studios, and honestly, Jeff had a great idea. He's like, you got the hoodie on, why don't you sit down and say a few words about the passing of Ace Frehley. So, yeah, I mean, what can I say? It's been, as of this taping, it's been 48 hours. Just so I appreciate so many people who have reached out to me. Just so everybody knows, I'm not curled up in the fetal position sobbing, okay? This is not a family member or even a friend or a close friend that has passed on. But, it's one of those things, as I've explained to people, and certainly people that are Kiss fans, that are Ace fans, even people that may only have casually been Kiss fans. If you were of my generation, our generation, and you grew up, it goes without saying, it can't be overstated how big Kiss became in the late 70s. Basically from about 76 to about 79, they were the biggest band on the planet. They were a phenomenon, not just in the United States, but worldwide. And there were people that really weren't into rock music, but they knew who Kiss was, and there were people that knew who Ace Frehley was. Me as a young guy, it was the perfect marriage. I've talked before on my Night Shift podcast about having my older brother. It was about 3 years older than me, and he was kind of a gateway for me, as were a lot of his friends. But I can remember being 5, 6 years old, that young, and Kiss was really starting to hit their stride. Alive came out in '75, Destroyer came out in '76. And, I lived in a neighborhood at that time in Lancaster County in the Hempfield area. And it was kind of one of those cul-de-sac-y neighborhoods. And there were, a lot of young kids that were my age and my brother's age. And, what did we do? We spent our days outside playing wiffle ball, throwing around the Nerf, and a lot of times talking about Kiss. And, which record is the best? Is it Dress to Kill? Is it Hotter Than Hell? Is it the first album? I can remember getting Love Gun when it came out in '77 and snagging it when it came out, in the stores. So Kiss was just a big, big, big part of my life. I was a massive fan. Even into 5th and 6th grade, I would come home from school almost every day and either listen to my Ace Frehley solo record, my Paul Stanley solo record, Kiss Alive 2, literally every day, in my bedroom. And I was too young to see them live. In their heyday. Obviously they went through a little bit of a rough period. Those that are fans that know, their business was certainly way down. Kiss became real passé. They took off the makeup to try to kind of stimulate things a little bit. It worked, by and large. Kiss had somewhat of a comeback without the makeup in the 80s. That's when I first got my opportunity to see Kiss live. But I was always a huge Ace Frehley guy and always a big fan and a big fan of his playing. And I think sometimes the music gets lost when people talk about Kiss and the merchandising and the makeup and basically all of the sizzle, not so much of the steak. But at the heart of Kiss were great songs. And it was the perfect mix. It was the perfect stew. Whether it was Peter Criss's jazz-influenced drumming, Gene and Paul as great songwriters, great singers, and then Ace being the guitar player that he was. I think it's interesting that in the last 48 hours or so, so many guitar players from Little Steven Van Zandt, obviously the E Street Band, Tom Morello from Rage Against the Machine, all these guitar players, Dimebag Darrell, Pantera, he had Ace Frehley's image tattooed on his chest. That's how much of an influence Ace Frehley was to so many guitarists out there. He was often credited and recognized as the one guy in the band that really was a true great musician and a great guitar player. Obviously the band reunited, the Alive Worldwide tour in '96, saw that tour, subsequent tours that followed. Ace left the band again in the early 2000s. That's another thing, is that people ask me, well, how many times have you seen Kiss? And I saw Kiss a lot, but I saw Ace solo a ton of times. I went as far as Pittsburgh to see Ace play a solo show. Went as far as Allentown to see him play solo. Different theaters. I saw him, the last time I saw him was actually in Harrisburg at HMAC. And he always put on a great, fun show. Ace was Ace. And he was different, and he was of a different breed. He was a one-of-a-kind guy. And his passing, what it means to Kiss fans, to Ace fans, and really to rock fans of my generation. It's just one of those things that reminds you of we're all getting older. And when our childhood heroes and people that we've admired and put so much time into being a fan, you know, the term fan is short for fanatic. You know, countless hours I spent listening to Kiss records, just staring at those covers in my bedroom. I went as Ace Frehley Halloween. It was probably 1977 or 78. My mom helped me make a costume. And when you see these heroes of yours, whether it's sports, movies, whatever, music, passing on, and they're passing on essentially because of old age, you start to reflect on your own life, you start to reflect on your own mortality, and you start to reflect on, a lot of ways, the good old days and those times that you spent. So yeah, it's kind of a time of reflection. It's tough. It's hard for me to reconcile. Obviously, we all knew this was coming as a Kiss fan, that, you know, sooner or later, you know, one of the original four guys would be the first to pass on. It's tough because Kiss is getting ready to be honored in December, the Kennedy Center Honors. Arguably, you know, a bigger honor than getting in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And it's going to be hard for us as fans because, you know, Ace is not going to be there for that honor in December. But yeah, just to sum it up, you know, for all the Kiss fans out there, for the Ace fans, and for those that just kind of grew up in that era, it's a tough loss, and he will be missed. But you know, the music, the memories, bringing a smile. 48 hours removed, I have not been able yet to bring myself to listen to Kiss music. I thought about, on my way here this morning, putting on the 78 solo record, which is one of my favorite records of all time, the Ace Frehley 78 solo record. I can't bring myself to do it just yet, but the time is coming. It's coming soon. And, you know, Ace, I didn't know you personally, but thanks to the great music, thanks to the great memories. And yeah, you know, eventually, that music and those memories and everything that Ace meant and Kiss meant will bring smiles back to this face. So thanks, everybody. If you stuck through this to the very end, I appreciate you. God bless Ace Frehley.
As you know, the rock and roll business is a pretty tough business, and, you know, without a sense of humor, it's very easy to go right down.
You were given the nickname Ace because of your ability to get dates for your friends.
And band members, yeah.
And band members, too. What's the secret?
I just had a way with chicks.
Had?
Have. H-A-V-E.
Anyway, it goes something like this while I'm doing my guitar solo. You know, I just snap this back, and...
Oh, he told me it wasn't loaded.
I told my guitar technician not to put a smoke bomb in it. Help! I can't breathe.
That's what it really looks like, too.
This is how I got bronchitis.
Doing an album is like doing a show in a urinal, you know, because it's all sterile and it smells and stuff, and it's just not...
You just got to be good, getting good with the janitor. You'll be all right.
Do you think it's sort of a travesty that Kiss has never won a Grammy, and that Kiss only had that one Grammy nomination for Psycho Circus?
We won a Grammy for Beth.
You won a Grammy for Beth? Did you? It didn't...
I got it on my shelf at home.
Oh.
You better do your homework.
Beth won a People's Choice. It did not win a Grammy.
Did not win a Grammy. Ah.
Wait a minute. I have a Grammy on my shelf.
Well, you may have...
Do you get a Grammy for a nomination?
No.
No.
I gotta have Rachel look on the shelf. Now I'm stumped.
I would love to know what Grammy this is.
Hi.
Pooh Bear?
What'd you call me?
Pooh Bear.
Pooh Bear. You're live on the air, Poodle.
Oh, I am? But I always call you Pooh Bear.
Hey, honey, I thought I had a Grammy on the shelf downstairs.
Okay, here we go.
What does it say?
It says Recording Academy New York Heroes Award presented KISS for your outstanding contributions to music and the music community, 2001.
All right, honey, well,
so good.
I got to get back to this interview, so, but thanks for the information. Take me a picture with your iPhone of that award that has the round
award I'm
circle in the
talking
middle.
about?
I want to see what it looks like.
Did you design your own outfits, all of you? And tell me what each outfit means, and I'll start with you, Ace.
Well, that means I think this outfit is self-explanatory. I mean, you know, this is part of a kind of a V shape. This is my utility belt, and we don't want to go any below than my waist area, because that's reserved for concert payers. You know?
I understand that. But, and after it's all over, they say, this is what we paid for. And that's what I always feel short.
I stole this from Flash Gordon, and, you know, I have my cape in.
But you're kind of like a spaceman, huh?
No, actually, I'm a plumber. On the side. Look.
Hey, listen, I got a little piece of pipe backstage I'd like to have you work on.
Tell me about it. Oh, you want it, but I'm in bed.
You.
There is a story that once in a nightclub, someone sent you over a bottle of champagne to your table because they really liked your laugh so much they felt you deserved a free drink. Is that true?
It's happened more than once.
What sort of things actually make you laugh apart from this?
God, I find the whole life hysterical. It's probably the only thing that has sustained me through this business. As you know, the rock and roll business is a pretty tough business, and, you know, without a sense of humor, it's very easy to go right down. So probably my sense of humor has probably sustained me through all the ups and downs of this roller coaster rock and roll business. Peter, to be totally honest with you, I called up Peter when I found out he was writing a book, and I said, Peter, you know, what are you going to write about, you know? And there's a lot of things I really don't want everybody to know. He said, Ace, you have nothing to worry about. Paul and Gene, on the other hand. So.
Your solo song, Rock Soldiers, is an autobiographical song written partially about a car accident you had in April 1982.
Well, it wasn't a car accident, it was a car chase. I was pulled over in my DeLorean, I was with a friend of mine.
A DeLorean.
And I was driving with a suspended license, and I didn't have my registration. And my friend was in the car, and a cop pulled us over because I bumped into a guy's car that was worth about $250. And he got out and he saw my car, and he figured maybe he could get some money out of me. And I said, what are you, out of your mind? Anyway, some cop saw us arguing. He walks over, and he goes, license and registration. I said, okay, no problem. I get in the car, I pull down the gold-wing door, and I told my friend, get out of the car because I'm taking off. So he got out of the car, and I just slammed it. And for 10, 15 minutes, the White Plains police were chasing me all around White Plains, and I eluded them.
You got away from them?
Yeah, I got away from them. I pulled over at a deli to make a phone call to have my friend come and pick me up. And the guy that owned the deli looked out at the car, and there was smoke rising from everywhere, and there was dents all over it. And I seemed a little crazy, because I was. And he called the cops, and I'm waiting for my friend to show up. I'm in the phone booth. When I walk out, you know, there's like 15 cops with their guns drawn. And they arrested me, handcuffed me, and took me away.